You guys may not know this, but I work in a customer facing sales and service role. And as will happen, you get talking to people, and it sometimes comes up that I have a bourbon collection or an affinity for whiskey or whatever. And one of the questions I get asked a lot is, what's your favorite bottle? And that kind of changes a lot, and it's really seasonally dependent, situationally dependent. It kind of changes with your mood, especially when you have, you know, 900-ish bottles to choose from. So we're going to talk about 7 of the bottles that I'm drinking right now. Roll that intro. Hey guys, welcome back to T-Rod Whiskey. When I'm just talking with people in general, right? A lot of times it's at work, but sometimes it's family, sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's some random dude that I bump into at a Total Wine or a liquor store, whatever. You get to talking about your interests. Mine happens to be whiskey. I'm very passionate about whiskey, very passionate about bourbon specifically, but really all types of whiskey. And, the conversation usually leads to, what is your favorite bottle to drink? And I am someone who does not have just one favorite. My favorite changes fairly constantly because, in winter, I like rye a little bit more. In summers, I like bourbons a little bit more. Maybe I'm in a mood for a finished bottle, or maybe I want something new and exciting, or, maybe I try something different that was sent to me by a distillery and I'm like, wow, this is 100% my jam right now. So it really just changes very, very often what my favorite bottle is. Or favorite bottles for that matter. So I've picked out 7 bottles that right now I'm drinking fairly consistently. So we're going to jump into that. I'll tell you a little bit about each of them. I'm not going to really do a review or anything, but we're just going to talk about these ones and why I like them. But the first one is kind of like a daily sipper. I don't drink daily, but you guys get the idea. And this one is a little embarrassing because it does come in a plastic handle with, it's got the little pourer built in and everything. But this is actually, this is T.W. Samuel's Bottled in Bond, obviously, as you can see by the label. But this is Kentucky straight bourbon, so I guarantee you this is every bit of only 4 years old and 100 proof, but that's fine. It's nice. It's approachable. I had not heard of these until It's Bourbon Night brought them up. And when I went to Kentucky this past summer, I made sure that I grabbed a pair of them because they're actually very affordable. I think I paid $21 for this. And you're probably thinking $21.99 or $20, whatever it was, for a 1.75 liter, that sounds disgusting. No, it's actually pretty okay. I don't hate sipping on it. It's not going to change my world, but it's something that I can pour a glass of and sit down and contemplate or read a book or maybe watch a movie or hang out with the wife or do whatever. And I don't feel the need or feel the urge to sit here and dissect it. I'm just enjoying what I'm sipping, not caring that, I'm maybe over poured a little bit or this one's going to be kind of hard to get back because the next time I go to Kentucky, I'll probably grab another one or 2 because they are affordable. And that's really what I look for in a daily sipper, right? And before, there was probably a different bottle sitting in this space. But this one right now is kind of the go-to for most easy sipping. I don't really use it in cocktails just because I have other stuff for that. But this one is really kind of, it's struck a chord with my palate and I don't hate it. Next one is a local distillery, and this is Mayor Pingree. Specifically, this one is the 6 year. This is the Chachi batch, which is 100 proof. And, I've got a couple different, if you guys see in the background here. This is the 5 year. This is the Alina. I've got the Bosco over here. I think they're on to like the Delta or Delphi or something now. But these are their shelf offerings that are now age stated. They range between 95 and 100 proof. They're not the single barrels or the special blue label, black label blends or anything, but these are still really good. I like reaching for these often because they're reasonably cheap, reasonably affordable, and I think just a really, really good classical bourbon at about $50 a bottle. And I know that I can walk into most of my Meijers and they're going to have these. I don't mind reaching for it super often. Some of these single barrels back here I haven't even opened just because between reviews for the channel, life, other things that I want to try. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. It's not that I don't want to, it's just That's what it is. So any of you guys out there that, you know, like to send the messages about like, wow, nice museum, you don't open any of your bottles, or, oh, I haven't seen the fill level drop on any bottles recently. Thank you for paying that kind of attention. I appreciate it, but it's just because I have a lot. And the rule in the speakeasy is, God, what is wrong with me? It's been a long day. The rule in the speakeasy is we do not go to the same bottle for 2 pours in a row. That's just the rules. Nothing I can do about it, right? But these are really good. If you ever get to Michigan or any of the surrounding states and you see one of these, it's not going to change your life, but it is going to be a pretty good bottle of bourbon, and I would recommend it. They were sourcing at one point. This is all their stuff now. Mayor Pingree is not sourcing for their regular shelf bottles anymore. It's all made in-house, which is really cool. Got to take the Valentine Distilling Tour, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next up is another one that's on the shelf fairly regularly, and this is the Penelope Architect. And I've been a fan of Penelope ever since I was able to get it here in Michigan. I love the blends. I love the limited releases that they're putting out, but this is just the Architect series specifically. This is build number 3. This is an older one. It's a little bit past halfway gone. Again, it gets kind of buried because there's just a lot of variety down here. But I really like these bottlings. I really like the French oak finishes. It's vaguely reminiscent to some like Maker's Mark, like 46 for me. Maybe it's just this batch because it's very strong with like the vanilla and the sweeter notes. Not identical. I'm not saying this tastes like a wheated bourbon. I'm just saying I've noticed some similarities, and it's probably very much to do with the French oak stave finishing. But these are like $45 here. They're pretty easy to find. Most stores that sell liquor are going to have the Architect on hand. It is 104 proof, so it's going to give me that deep enough drinking experience where, you know, I'm really going to be able to enjoy it, but I'm not going to have to sit here and really think about what I'm doing. If I'm doing work late at night, or I'm working on stuff for the channel, or I'm doing editing, or, you know, whatever, this is something that I can reach for and not mind it, because I know I'm going to be able to go back and get one off the shelf. I have not noticed a ton of variation between the batches, or the builds, but I really like this. And I think this is a really good example of what Penelope can do with blending. And their barrel proof stuff is even better, in my opinion. So Penelope's another one that we've really been going a lot to. Couple local bottles. So the first one, this is Lone Light Spirits. So this is a small batch bourbon. This is actually their batch number 2, which batch 2 got even better, but batch 1 was I was a big fan of. This is a honey mead finished bourbon, and this is fairly local to me. This is out of Ferndale, Michigan. Joe, if you're watching this, big fan of what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Can't wait for the tasting room to open. But if I'm looking for something a little bit finished, it's a little bit lighter. This is only 90 proof, right? I should know this. Yeah, 90 proof. So it's not super aggressive, but the finishing cask, and it adds just like another layer. And I really enjoy it. You know, I enjoy everything that Joe is doing. His other spirits are fantastic. I'm very preferable to the small batch bourbon. I think great things are coming out of that distillery, but the honey mead cask is a fairly unique cask finish for me. I've only come across a few, like barely a handful of mead finishes, and I like this one the most. Some of the other ones have been higher proof, but I think the proof kind of washes out some of the cask influence. And for me, when I get a cask finished whiskey, I want to taste the cask influence. It's got some cool odes to Michigan things going on here. I like the lantern that's embossed into the glass. Really, really cool. Just can't say enough good things about it. Really like this one. If you're ever in Southeast Michigan, or actually Michigan in general, I think they're throughout the entire state, grab a bottle of this. You might be surprised. And it's really affordable. I think it's 45 or 50 bucks. And they should be coming out, I think at this point they're going to be moving on to batch 3. I don't know, but either way, it's hard to go wrong. The next one is another Michigan distillery. And if you guys are followers or listeners or whatever, you come around just to make fun of me and see what the weird bald guy on YouTube is talking about, you'll know that I am a huge, huge advocate for American Fifth Spirits out of Lansing. This one is their small batch bourbon, and it is aged for 68 months in 30-gallon barrels, coming in at 90 proof. And I know what you're thinking. Bruzel has told you to beware of the smaller casks, and in some instances, that is correct. This is not one of those times. This is a 4-grain bourbon that they distilled in-house, aged in-house in 30-gallon barrels. The age statements are only going up. I think I've got, yeah, there's a 73 month, an 80 month, and I think I got like an 82 month down there. It's only getting older and it's only getting better. The depth of flavor is fantastic. I love that they have the little tasting graph on the back, very similar to what Penelope does with theirs. Sweet, body, oaky, toffee, all accurate. Love this one. For me, this tastes almost like a toasted marshmallow that was kind of rolled in toasted oak. It's got those oaky characteristics that I personally really like. If you like an oaky bourbon, get you some of this. You're going to like the way it tastes. I know distribution is a little bit slim. I think it's mostly through Michigan. Hopefully that's changing soon. I have started to see these pop back up in local Myers. I know Total Wine is carrying it, which is a good thing. But I just, big fan of the label, big fan of the tasting room and distillery. Been there a lot. Every time we go to Lansing, I got to stop in. So definitely check that out. Can't always be drinking bourbon though. And right now, one that I keep reaching for that is a blended malt scotch. This is the Naked Malt, formerly the Naked Grouse, but this is a blended scotch, 43%. Usually my rule follows like the big three for scotch, right? 46% or higher, non-chill filtered, no artificial coloring. So this is non-chill filtered and there's no artificial coloring, but it is only 43%. But we will forgive that because word on the street is there is some Macallan involved in this blend. And it's just really good. I like this a lot in the summer. If I'm smoking a cigar, this pairs really well with a cigar and kind of gives like Tootsie Roll vibes without being like overpowering or obtrusive. And if you're sitting around a bonfire and it's 90-some degrees, you can sip this without like hating life because it's blowing your head off while you also got the fire roaring in your face and you got a hot cigar in your mouth. I think this one just pairs really, really well. It's definitely one of my favorite scotches and it's cheap. It's like $30. It's on most shelves if you can find it. I love the bottle design. I like the simplicity of the label. I know I already said price, but I really like the price. This is really affordable. And this is probably my second or third bottle of this. I don't go through scotch as often, but pretty good. I always think a little bit more when I'm going for some of my higher end scotches because when I do buy them, I tend to buy more expensive, more exclusive bottlings because I don't buy as much scotch as I do bourbon. I'm still kind of getting acclimated to scotches and scotch whiskey. I like peat. I like Highlands. I'm kind of still finding my way through that whole journey. So it is a lot easier for me to reach for a $30 bottle and just say, Jesus, take the wheel on something like this than rather, a Lagavulin 8-year that just cost me $80 or a Lagavulin 16 that just cost me $110. This is a lot easier of a pill to swallow. And then lastly, the only rye on this list, and this is something that myself and the lady friend drink a lot of, and this is the Sagamore Double Oaked. Guys, if you're not drinking this, I don't know what else I can do for you because this is dope. It's awesome. This will make your night. This will change your evening, right? And it's not super proofy and it's not super expensive. It's like $65, but it's ready. It's available. It's a double oaked rye coming in at like 90 proof, right? Hold on. 96.6 proof. Okay, even better. Great presentation, great labeling. Love the cork on this. It's going to stand out on a shelf. I'm a huge Sagamore fan. I know Courtney's a huge Sagamore fan. Coming out of Maryland, making all their own stuff. It's a hitter. It is an underrated hitter. In fact, Yep. Just an oaky, marshmallowy rye, sweet. I love it. There's always a bottle of this on the shelf, and this might be the most replaced bottle in the speakeasy. I think we went through like 4 bottles of that last year, which doesn't sound like a ton until if I were to pan the camera around and show you everything, you guys would be like, wow. Or at least I hope you would. I hope this is impressive to everybody, but regardless, this is the only rye that made the list because it's winter, but like we're spreading it around a lot. I'm drinking Old Pepper. I'm drinking High West. The New Holland, what is it? The 6-year or 7-year malted rye. We got the New Riff malted rye and the 8-year rye. And I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. The Jack Daniel's barrel proof. There's too much to put it on this list. But this one This one's special, guys. If you don't believe me, check out the Bourbon Junkies. They have sung this thing's praises a lot. This thing has beat out some much, much more expensive, much more hard to find bottles in blinds. It's really, really good. So that's my list, guys. Let's roll these back out for you a little bit so we can just get an idea of everything we're talking about here. But that, as they say, is that. If you guys have made it this far, please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys following the channel. I appreciate you subscribing. Please leave a message down below. I see so many people view these videos and nobody leaves a message. And that hurts my feelings. It does. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know what you're thinking about or what you want to see from me. Maybe I'm not talking enough. Maybe I'm talking too much. Maybe I need to edit my videos more. I don't know. Maybe you want me to stop talking. But if that's the case, you're out of luck because it's my channel and I'll do it the way I want to. But otherwise, I will see you guys next time. We got more great content. Just got a couple bottles in the mail yesterday. So bottle reviews coming. Might have to do a couple of surprise drops just for poops and giggles. But we'll see you next time. Cheers.